Well, India is witnessing a K-shaped recovery with luxury items picking up much faster than the small ticket items. Well, hot on collectors' list are luxury watches. Making its way through the Indian markets is the luxury Swizz watchmaker Breitling. Well, just last year, it entered the top 10 Swizz brands by sales with an annual turnover approaching almost $1 billion. And I had the opportunity to have a conversation with the man who is helming Breitling to new heights, Kern, who's the CEO of Breitling. Let's go across and take a look at this conversation. Hello, Mr. Kern. Welcome to India. So good to have you on ET Now.
Thank you very much for welcoming me.
Mr. Kern, now Breitling is completing 140 years this year, right? What makes Breitling one of the most legendary and sought-after names in watchmaking?
You said it, one of the key elements is that we have an incredible history. We have what we call an incredible back catalog, meaning fantastic, iconic designs. There are very few designs which are in the top 10 of the watch industry, and we have a couple of them, including in particular the Navi timer, which is the most iconic product we have, but many others. Plus, of course, many incredible stories. Breitling invented the chronograph. Everything you know about a chronograph today is obviously invented by Breitling, and many, many other anecdotes which we're going to explain during the year within a book and within museums, travel exhibitions. So yes, absolutely unbelievable history.
Right, and you were brought in to helm Breitling in 2017. What have been your hits, what have been your misses, and what have been your biggest learnings?
You know, when you run a company, you always make mistakes, but you never talk about it. You learn from it, and then you move on. Now, right. Breitling has been growing tremendously, as you know, from different financial reports, in particular from the Morgan Stanley report. We are now in the top 10, we are number 8. And we have plans to further grow. I think what we've been doing over the last couple of years is being relevant, a very relevant brand in terms of advertising, in terms of aesthetics of products, in terms of our values we convey. Yeah. We have been strongly developing our retail network. We have roughly 270 boutiques around the world. We have 3 boutiques now in India. We're going to open another 3 boutiques until the end of the year. We want to have 10 boutiques in your country. So we have that visibility, that qualitative visibility which you need in the luxury industry.
Right. Mr. Kern, let's talk about the Indian market then. You know, India is seeing a K-shaped recovery, which means that the luxury items have picked up faster than the small ticket items, and that has paved way for a lot of premiumization in our country. Tell us about the demand that you're seeing on ground in the Indian market, and you know, what is the headroom for growth for Breitling?
So first of all, you cannot fight demography, and India is a huge country with whatever it is, 1.4, 1.5 billion people. Second, it's a very young population. It's a very digital population, yes. So people know and understand what is going on outside of this world. There's a free trade agreement now between India and Switzerland, yeah. Which will help us to further invest in this country. I'm very confident. Indian customers were buying outside of India for many, many years, in Dubai, in London, elsewhere. And now consumption is taking place more and more here, which is very important, again, for us to invest in boutiques, in advertising, in our people here, in our subsidiary. And yes, but at the end of the day, you know, people are always asking me, how is the Indian market different, or Indian customer different from others? No, the customer is the same. Okay. The country is different, has different infrastructures, different setting, is at different development stage, but the customer is global. We are a global brand. Right. Luxury consumers buy global luxury products. And,
it's a collector's item.
It's an item. You know, the Indian customer is the same as the French or the English one. You read the same type of news, you listen to the same music, you drive the same cars, at least at that price point. So therefore, it's very comparable.
Right. In fact, that was my next question about, you know, how the Indian customer is different or similar to the global customer. You answered my question there. But tell us, you know, let's talk about the age demographics then. You know, there was a time when luxury watches were owned by, say, people over 35 or 35 plus, because that's when you start making more money at your job and you want to lead a better lifestyle. Has that changed over the years? Are more and more millennials, Gen Next, are they buying luxury watches more often now than not?
No, absolutely. Of course, income is a key element in the context of luxury goods, but the luxury industry became more and more democratic in a way. So people have, because of the higher incomes, have access more and more to luxury goods. But indeed, the younger generation is actually the one consuming the most luxury goods, not the older generation.
Is social media responsible for that?
Everything, yeah. It's people want to have a certain lifestyle, and when you look at the global luxury industry since the 1980s, when the luxury industry really developed with all these French and Italian brands, etc., it has been raising dramatically. Look at the valuation of the luxury groups of the last couple of years. The richest man one of the richest men in Europe and in the world is somebody who's not in the tech industry, but who is producing luxury products made by hand out of leather craftsmanship, which shows also humankind. We like to enjoy life,
Right.
thank God. Otherwise, life would be very boring. We like to go to restaurants, carpe diem, also in a context of crisis where, yes, let's enjoy life here and now. And this is a little bit what is happening around the world.
Right. Also, India has become very digital, and I think the rest of the world has also. But tell us about the competition that's coming in from digital, from smartwatches. Especially post-COVID, there has been more emphasis on health and wellness, and so people are also more inclined towards smartwatches. Are you facing a stiff competition from the smartwatch side?
Not at all. It's a question which many people ask me. Not at all. This is complementary. An analog watch is a status symbol. It's like a piece of jewelry.
Right.
You don't buy a watch today, an analog watch, to read time. There's no function. It's really a status symbol. It's a kind of emotion. You get married, you take a watch, you get a diploma, you get your first job, and then you buy a watch, and it's linked to a memory. Nobody is collecting iPhones or digital watches, but people are collecting analog watches. You have a total different connection to it. But today, both are complementary. Somebody who has a digital watch has also an analog watch, and vice versa.
Right.
So, but you wear it in different occasions, in a different context. So I don't see any problem. We were afraid a couple of years back. But again, since the rise of the digital watches, the analog watches are also booming, and I'm convinced it will continue in the future.
Okay. So if you had to give me a prototype of a Breitling consumer, what would it be? What is an ideal, or who is the right consumer for Breitling?
We don't think in age groups. We think in terms of lifestyle, and you're attracted by a brand. Breitling is the cool and relaxed alternative to the very conservative Swiss watch industry is very
Yes.
conservative, and I've been working for very conservative watch brands. But Breitling is reflecting, I think, in particular after COVID, this dynamic, outdoor, sporty, cool, I would say, lifestyle. And you buy a brand today before you buy a design and technical content. And I think many people are attracted to that more modern appeal of our brand. And of course, because that's the beginning, the aesthetics of the brand. I think we have some of the most beautiful products in the pipe. And I can only invite everybody to come to see these products in one of our boutiques. You will be amazed.
Right. So speaking of, the customers, we saw your collab with Victoria Beckham, and that was great. So you're trying to get more and more women into the fold. Do we see more such collabs in the future?
Absolutely. We were nowhere with females watches a couple of years back. It was zero in terms of turnover. Now it's absolutely substantial. And you cannot think in silos anymore. You have watches and fashion and cars. No, everything today is horizontal, it's transversal. And this collaboration with Victoria Beckham is extremely successful. She represents the woman we want to talk to. She's dynamic, she's self-confident, she's very successful. Her shows are extremely respected today. She put a lot of input into the design of the watch. We launched or relaunched yellow gold. We had lots of rose gold. She came with her colors. It has been very successful and extremely visible and opened us to a new type of female customers, because the choice for female, for women in the watch industry is somehow limited.
Yes.
And we want also for women to be the relaxed and cool alternative in the market.
So going forward, if you had to come out with a marketing campaign, what would be your TG? Who would you be targeting?
Again, it's not the conservative people. And again, it has nothing to do with age. It's really a question of mental attitude. What do you want to look like in life? And, you know, we have these partnerships with Triumph motorbikes, but you can be 20 or you can be 60 riding such a motorbike. So it's not about age, it's a style. It's more outdoor, it's more enjoying life, carpe diem.
Right.
This is kind of we have a design language called modern retro, so you must like our products. This has nothing to do with age. It has more to do with attitude.
Right. And you mentioned, you know, not being conservative twice, which usually Swizz watches are known for. Is there a conscious attempt to break free from that image of
Absolutely.
what, you know, Swizz watches have over the years and projecting a more open or carpe diem, as you said, image of Breitling?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have that, I mean, history of being in aviation, but also, you know, with diving watches, and I think the whole way we communicate is very different. And again, if you go to see our boutiques, it's very different. The style is very different, but very appealing. And you know, the success of a brand is not one element, it's not one campaign, it's not one celebrity. It's a group of elements which makes a brand appealing and interesting for the consumer.
Right, so it's a pivot, it's a brand overhaul that you're planning to come out with.
I mean, we have been, we bought the company with private equity 6-7 years ago with CVC, now Partners Group, a fantastic Swiss private equity company, is a majority shareholder. But I think we have an endless potential to grow, not only in India, obviously, but in the rest of the world. There are many. I mean, I'm going to Indonesia in a couple of weeks. Still, we have huge potential in Europe, in the US, obviously in China, in all the other Asian markets. So I think there is a bumpy road. There's a little bit of headwinds at this moment in time, considering the political situation, interest rates, etc. Okay, but we have to live with it and outperform our competition. In a crisis, you have to deal with it. Right. The point is, are you better than the others? And we definitely are. Right.
So, which brings me to my next question. What are your challenges? Specifically in Indian market, what are the challenges for Breitling watches?
I think at this moment in time is really building distribution. Okay, it's really building distribution. It's really being more visible, which we're going to do. I mean, we are going to heavily invest in India, opening distribution. I would wish to have more luxury malls available where we could go. I think that's not our job to do this. It's our, you know, that's a job of real estate investors, landlords to offer that. They would do a great business because all the luxury brands wait to find locations to feature their products. And by the way, consumers also wait to go to some places where they have this concentration of high-end products. So yes, let's go for it.
So can we expect, you know, in the coming years that, you know, a lot of your focus is going to be on distribution and the marketing spends, right, for India?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Now that with the free trade agreement, this will allow us, obviously, to invest more. Before, with all the taxes, nobody made money in this country, and today we can help to grow this industry and help local consumption, because this is what at the end of the day, everybody wants, not only in India, but it was the same phenomenon in China, you want to increase local consumption.
So if you had to pick one Indian celebrity to say, who fits the bill to endorse Breitling, like Victoria Beckham, who would it be?
It's it's a kind of sickness of the industry to say, okay, I want this cricket player, I want that Bollywood star, etc. Let's do it step by step. And you have many brands with many celebrities failing totally in India. So it's not that point which will make a brand successful or not. It can help at a certain stage. I think it's too early for us. We might look into it in 1 or 2 years. But I first want to establish the infrastructure, the presence of the brand in this country before we look into elements which could eventually accelerate our growth.
Right. So basically, awareness is a key point right now. That is something that you'd be looking to growing right now.
But having a brand, by the way, talk about celebrities, having a brand partnership or brand collab with an Indian brand in India would certainly be more helpful than an Indian celebrity. And but I don't know what it could be. But
that'll also solve a distribution problem if you collaborated with an Indian brand, right? Because that will have touch points.
You have these collabs, these fashion collabs which exist. And I think that could be something cool, which might give more leverage to a brand than just a celebrity which was wearing another brand before we came, and who will wear another brand after we leave.
Right. Also, you did great work with that sustainability report, and you have been working with lab-grown diamonds also. So in the future, do we see Breitling coming out with more of lab-grown diamonds?
Absolutely. We will only have lab-grown diamonds in the future. As I said, we started with a white piece of paper in the female segment. So it was easier for us, in a way, to do it right from the beginning. Because as you know, and by the way, we buy lab-grown diamonds from India, because lab-grown diamonds have exactly the same quality as mined diamonds, but obviously with much less environmental impact. And we also source gold from what we call artisanal mines. We have a blockchain where consumers can check about our supply chain, etc. So we thought, okay, let's try to do it right at the beginning. It has been very successful, which proves that you can do good in doing well or doing well in doing good.
Right. Finally, Mr. Kern, what is your vision for Breitling globally and for India as well?
The potential in India is endless. I mean, for the next 10, 20 years, 30 years, it's endless because you have such a young population, and India will be in the top 3 industrial countries by 2028. So there will be more and more wealth. There are roughly 150, 160 million people now having access to luxury, but it will go to 300 million, 400 million. So the market, put it in perspective to Switzerland. Switzerland has 8 million people, right? And here, every year, you will probably have 20, 30, 40 million people having access to it.
Right.
So you're opening a new country like Switzerland every year, which is quite amazing. And we, as Breitling, will be growing for the next couple of years. I'm convinced we'll be in the top 5 very soon.
So here's hoping for that, and all the best to you for the Indian market and otherwise. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.